Hey everybody, it's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations, here with today's Take Two Tuesday event. Hey everybody! If you're joining me during the premiere of today's class, that would be at 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are live chatting right over there if you're on a desktop or a laptop, and below us if you are on a different device. Please come say hello, hello. I would love to meet you, and there's a whole host of SMS peeps who just can't wait to make a new crafty friend. Now, Take Two Tuesdays are where I feature my Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations products. We do a quick and simple make, and I need to let you know they're coming to an end. December is the last month for Take Two Tuesdays because in 2025, we're changing it up a bit. The new Tuesday is gonna be called In the Studio with Stacey, and there's more to tell you about it. There's more coming in the next probably 2 weeks. I will be able to share absolutely everything with you, but the new name of Tuesdays is changing from Take Two Tuesday to In the Studio with Stacey, and I can't wait to share all the creative things we have in store for you. Now, I also want to tell you a little bit about something that's happening at scrapbook.com right now, like right now. They have a special promotion going on where you get a free make and take. If you order something $15 or more, they have free gifts, and you just add that gift right into your cart if you order $15 or more at scrapbook.com right now, which means that's a great time to get maybe another pair of Stacey Park limited edition teal 6x6 glitter cutting pads, or maybe some teal opulent paper, which is absolutely gorgeous as well, also limited edition. If you order anything over $15, you can add that free gift right into your cart, and there's a YouTube that goes with it. So when you get that make and take that features my Couture Creations glitter, you're going to be able to watch the YouTube and follow along, and we're going to make together. So you're going to want to head over to scrapbook.com because supplies are limited on that free make and take, and when it's gone, it's gone. I'm going to tilt down and I'm going to show you kind of what it is. They're super cute, and it's just a really fun way to get your hands on maybe the microfine glitter, the Stacey Park microfine glitter that you've never tried before. You're gonna get a whole little pouch of it to play with. But let me tilt on down and let me show you what it is we're gonna be making in that video, in that YouTube class. Down we go. So I have an entire class for scrapbook.com on my microfine glitter. And this is the cute little make and take. Everybody's gonna get silver glitter. You get the star that has the scrapbook.com adhesive on it, the tags, the little string, and they are just darling. And it's a super easy and fun way to play and see how phenomenal the Stacey Park Couture Creations microfine glitter is. So, if you are over at scrapbook.com and you've got something that's $15 or more in your cart, do not forget to add this free gift. It'll pop right up at the top and say free gifts, and you just click it and add it, and it is yours. Compliments of Couture Creations, Stacey Park, and scrapbook.com. Now for today we are playing with my 4-layer stencil. It's called Downtown. It is from my March release from this year. It's going on a year. It's so hard to believe. And I thought we would just keep it super simple. They are easy stencils to use. Beautiful. This was done with just one color of brown ink, my brown ink, my dark chocolate. One color I desaturated. However, this one was done with fun colors. Look at how great that is. So I thought we would just play a little bit today and use that stencil and see what we can get done. I'm going to bring over my stencil and stamp tool by Sizzix, because I am going to be using it as the stencil alignment tool. So I don't need my lid. I can take that off. I'm not going to be using it as a stamp positioner today. I've got my alignment tool, super important. This little piece of plastic makes stenciling so easy. Oh, my sticky grid is kind of my half on and half off. So let's put my sticky grid back on. Sticky grid comes with your stencil and stamp tool, and it's what holds your paper in place. Literally holds your paper in place. You put your paper down and bam, it doesn't move. It's really nice, but then you pull it up and it doesn't harm your paper either. You don't need to wipe it down. You don't need to wash it. Eventually, if it's no longer sticky, you get yourself another piece of sticky grid. Sizzix has them in a set of 5, and I can honestly say that this sticky grid lasts a very, very, very long time. Now, the way the alignment tool works is these 2 little nibs at the top of your stencil tool. Those are what you store your alignment tool on. You don't use those nibs to actually hold stencils in place. That's not where they go. These little nibs are not the same as the nibs on the alignment tool. These little nibs are deeper and rounder, and they're different. So when you're storing your tool, right there, but when you're using your tool, your stencils are always going to go across the bottom nibs on the green. Now the little holes here correlate to the hole or the hinged, they're not really hinges, gosh, I don't even know what they call this. I'm gonna have to ask them. What holds the lid in place? These little holes correlate so that you can take your stencil positioner and alignment tool, and you can move it anywhere across you want. If you're doing a repetitive stencil, you just keep moving it across and it lines up every time. If you're doing a stencil for a layout and you need it down on the border, no problem, you put it all the way down. But if you're doing something at the top, you raise it all the way up. You have options. And the tool has no lip on any of the 3 sides, which means you can use any size paper you want because it's not going to stop. There's no lip to make the paper stop. So if you are using 12 by 12 paper, easy peasy. Now I'm going to be using white paper today, and I am going to be playing with my Stacey Park Jacquard inks, and I do have my stencils. And the stencils are numbered by the layer that they go in, the order that they go in. So there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the top of each stencil is the Sizzix name, the SKU number, and the number, the position that the stencil goes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that mean you can't do them out of order? Well, this particular stencil you can absolutely do out of order because each layer acts as a mask on top of the other one. That's why when you look at it completely together, you can't see through anything. It's acting as a mask. So when I do stencil number 1 and I lift it up and I put down stencil number 2 is going to hide everything on stencil number 1, meaning that your colors won't combine. Super easy to do. So let's just start because I think that watching and seeing makes it a little bit easier. Now I've got my alignment tool in, and I've got my holes in my Sizzix stencil, and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. I don't have, every stencil I have is not a Sizzix stencil. How am I gonna use this tool? Do I have to punch holes in my stencil? No. Sizzix sells converters that will, let's pretend this is not a Sizzix stencil, that will attach to the top or the side of any stencil that you have. It attaches with double stick tape. It adds the 2 little holes, so any stencil you want to use, you can. And when you're done with it, you pop that converter off and you save it for the next time you want to use it. They are reusable. They're made out of plastic. You get a set of 10 for, I think, $5.99. And if you get the stencil and stamp tool through us, we give you a set of converters just so you have them to start. So if you don't have all Sizzix stencils, because I mean, come on now, lots of stencils out there in the world, and the only ones who put holes in the top are Sizzix. So if you have other stencils by other manufacturers, you're still going to be able to use your stencil and your stamp tool, because you're going to have those converters, and it allows you to add a piece of plastic that has the holes in it, so you're able to line everything up perfectly. Now with my Sizzix stencil, I just pop it right into place. I think I might move my paper over just a little. Now, as long as I don't move my paper, my stencil is going to line up great every single time. It just is. So let's grab maybe my blue raspberry, and let's go, I'm gonna go super, super, super light. So I've got my little blending mat over here, just so I can desaturate my colors. My colors are by Jacquard. They are a premium dye-based ink. I don't have a light version of blue raspberry and a dark version. I don't make color families. I have one color that is so highly saturated, you can take it, desaturate to make every tone you need it to be. So I'm just gonna come in here and very lightly add some of my blue raspberry. And if I need to pick up a little bit more, that's why I like the blending tool. The blending tool is by Woodware, and it's actually as big as my sticky grid is. I've just cut it down into several pieces and shared it, to be honest with you. It's super inexpensive. I want to say it's less than $6, and it's this big. So I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half, and I've got a couple different sizes. Okay, so I think I've got a nice light color going on, and you can see that's pretty light. Pretty light. Now, as long as I don't move my paper, I can put my next stencil on. So stencil number 1, done. Stencil number 2, on. I can see the Sizzix is facing upwards. And see what I mean by masking? Everything I just did has been hidden by the new layer of stencil. So there's no way I'm gonna accidentally blend into that first color. Now I'm just gonna keep with my blue raspberry, and this time I'm gonna go a little bit darker in my color. A little bit darker in my color. So I'm gonna add. And the super cool thing about this tool, the stencil and stamp tool, is that you are able to lift up and look and say, is that dark enough? Can I see the difference between those? And if you can't, you layer it right back up and you can add more color. Now I'm gonna go in and do the whole thing before I decide if I need to add a little bit more color to it. I'm just gonna stencil the whole thing, and I'm going a little bit darker than my original color, showing you that one color ink really can do an entire stencil. It's all about the saturation and the desaturation. How heavy or how light do you put it on? Now, is that enough difference? I might add a little bit more down to the bottom maybe. Don't want to add too much. Okay, that's definitely more. So now stencil number 2 pops off. Stencil number 3 goes in its place. I can see the Sizzix. And now I'm going to go a little bit darker. And I keep adding depth in my color, each layer I do. Now you can see my hands are walking down with my stencil. That's because this is an alignment tool. It allows you to pick it up, it allows you to look at it, it allows you to put it back. But what it doesn't do is hold your stencil in place from buckling. You still got to put your hands on your stencil. And I can see what I've got and where I might need to add a little bit more color. Oops, see, I didn't have my hands down there. Because I can lift it up and I can see what it is I'm doing. I can see what it looks like. Now remember, this is just one color. This is just one color. And if I like the white, I don't even have to go in and use my last color or make this as dark. I can make this really dark right now and leave that last stencil off, only using stencil 1, 2, and 3, thereby leaving it in white. So I'm going to make this one, I'm still on stencil number 3. I'm going to go back and darken it up. Oh yeah, look at that. Now I could leave it white if I wanted to, or because I haven't moved my paper, I could come back, pop off stencil number 3, grab stencil number 4, and I could do it in a completely different color. I could maybe come in with a metallic silver. This is Color Pad by Jacquard. It is a pigment-based ink. Your metallics are always going to be a pigment-based ink because that metallic needs to sit up on top of the paper versus absorbing into the paper like a dye-based. Dye-based inks are going to absorb in. Pigment-based inks are going to sit up. I could take my stencil off, see, and then you can see the difference. I've got that silver metallic versus white. By adding that 4th layer, it finishes it off, and that silver just adds that pop of something. It adds that pop of something. So Jacquard has, I want to say 6 or 7 metallic pigment inks. I've got bronze and I've got rose gold and I've got silver and gold and platinum. But I think it just finishes it off really nicely. It just finishes it off really nicely. And you've got that metallic coming through on that blue. Really pretty. Love that. Yes, I do. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I do love that. All right, and then to clean up your stencils, it's ABC 1, 2, 3. Baby wipe, And done. Baby wipe. And done. Baby wipe. And even on the metallic, baby wipe. Now I thought we might play and maybe blend some colors a little bit. So I'm gonna put my stencil positioner, my alignment tool right there, put my paper down, bring stencil number 1 back, so let's put them in order. That's 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put one on the back, there we go. And I thought we might play a little bit. So I'm going to do my first stencil in one color. I'll make sure I've got my blue off. I'm going to do it in my Pineapple Crush. And I'm just going to go straight in. I'm not going to desaturate. I'm just going to go for it. And Pineapple Crush is a happy, bright yellow. It can be desaturated, just like I did with my blue, to have a soft yellow. It's not like my yellow curry, which is more of a warm yellow. This one's very bright and happy and vibrant. I thought I'd just go in here. Now I have no idea what we're going to get. Time's going to tell. Okay, so I've got my yellow down. I can look at it and see if I'm happy. That looks pretty good to me. Pop off my stencil 1 and put on my stencil number 2. And I think stencil number 2 I'm going to go in with my Dragon Fruit Delight, which is a pink. And again, I'm going to go straight to it. I'm just going to go straight on in. And see what we get. So I'm not worrying about whether I've got it darker in some areas and lighter in others. I like the highs and lows. I don't want all my color to be the same everywhere. Then it just kind of looks flat. So by not having the same color consistently through, having some of my pink a little bit darker, some of my pink a little bit lighter, it allows you to have some highs and lows, creating dimension. Okay, ooh, those look good together. Now I'm going to come in with stencil number 3, and we're going to see what happens, because I'm going to blend colors. So as long as I haven't moved my paper, everything is still going to line up. So I'm masking everything off, and I'm going to come back with my yellow. And I'm going to add some yellow here And some yellow over here. And then I'm going to come back in with my Dragon Fruit Delight. And I'm going to add some Dragon Fruit Delight. Just kind of all over. And then I'm going to come back again with my Pineapple Crush, and I'm going to blend those colors together. Now the cool thing about my inks is they don't make mud. You can blend and blend and blend and you don't get mud. Which means I can go right on top, and those two colors are going to cement themselves together. And I can lift up, and anywhere I want to make a little darker with my pink, I can come back in and now add a little bit more pink on top of my yellow, and just keep blending. The inks are pretty extraordinary that way. So you don't have to have oodles and oodles and oodles of color, because the inks are so saturated, you can make your colors. And I love how vibrant that is. Taking those two colors and blending them together. Now my last color, what do I want to do for my last color? Maybe I just keep it simple. And go in there with a super light pink. Maybe I desaturate. And just do a really light pink. And I can look up and see, do I like that? Meh. What if I added a little bit of blue? You're like, don't do it, Stacey, don't do it. Oh, what's the worst that could happen? I add a little bit of blue to this. What's the worst that could happen? It's only paper. And we're only playing. Right now it's only white paper in my time. And during class, my time is your time. So let's play. Now add a little bit more pink. And that blue is going to morph into kind of a purple. And I can lift up. Ooh, I like it. It's bright, it's happy. Ooh, I like it. And this was blending colors, blending them right on the stencil, right on the stencil. Pull it up, and then wipe my stencils, and maybe we do one more. So wipe everything down. And then start again. And maybe we'll play in the blue and the teals this time. So lid on, although I might end up using that one again. Maybe we play in the teals for a little bit. And I find my stencil number 1. Stencil number 4. Stencil number 2. Stencil number 1. Stencil number 3. All right, and maybe we play a little bit in teal. Ooh, this got a lot of blue on it. I wonder if I grabbed the wrong... I do have teal, right? Yes, okay. It's got a lot of blue in it, but that's okay. I think I grabbed the wrong brush, but that's all right. We're blending anyway. So now I've got my teal going on. So this is Teal Deal. And I can pick it up, see what I've got, put it back down, and say, wahoo ka-choo. I want a couple highs and some lows. I don't want everything to be exactly the same color. So there's number 1. Now number 2. Number 2, I might do a little bit of my yellow. Kind of like the yellow. Yeah, I just do it all in the yellow. Oh, pretty, 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 pretty. Thought I was just going to do a little yellow, but then again, it's me. The yellow is my favorite. It just is a happy color and it goes with everything. Okay, I think I'm good with that. Stencil number 3. Maybe we do some Blue Jay. And this really is just about going for it. A little bit of Blue Jay everywhere. And then maybe a little teal deal. Mixed into my Blue Jay. Kind of here, there, everywhere. Just go for it. Just try. And finish. You may lift it up and go, oh, I don't know about that, but I'm going to go for it. And maybe I put a little bit more blue in there. A little more teal in there. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And then what's my last color? What's my last color? Do I do super bright? Stencil number 4. Maybe I do. Maybe I do my yellow again. Maybe I do, change of plans, maybe I do a little bit of my, well, I already got my yellow going. Already got yellow happening. So I think I'll mix some pink in with that. Then I think I'm going to mix some blue. And then I'm going to come back with some more pink. And then some more yellow. And I'm just playing with colors. Okay. So no mud here. Even though I did blue and yellow and pink, no mud. And then if I really want to just jazz them up a little bit, and I really want those colors to pop through, I'm going to throw some Versamark over the top of them. So I'm going to put my Versamark all over. Versamark is an embossing medium, which means I'm going to use embossing powder. So I'm going to do that one. Oh, let's put some lids on my inks. I am notorious for not putting lids back on my inks. Okay, so there I've got embossing powder over one. Throw some clear embossing powder over the top. And wherever that Versamark is, the embossing powder is going to stick. And all it's going to do is add this beautiful glaze to it. So there's one. And then let's do this one. And you see my Versamark pad, it's not very pretty, but it works. And put some embossing powder all over it. And I just put it down the side and I let gravity do the work. I just let gravity kind of do the work. And anywhere I missed, I throw a little bit more. And I just let gravity do the work. Now it kind of looks like I've obscured the color. It's like, what did you do? You muted that color. And is that powder going to dry? No, this powder gets heat set. That means it's going to melt from this powder into a solid, and it's beautiful once it happens. So you take your heat tool, this is a Sizzix heat tool, and you just let it sit until you start to see it melt. And you can see the powder literally turn. And once it's all melted, it then has a glazed look to it. Look at that shine. Versus this one we haven't added any heat to yet. It needs that heat set to get that glaze look on it. Now that looks good. I'm gonna do this one real fast. And I just want you to see how vibrant colors become when you throw the embossing powder on them. It just amps them up a little bit. And you can see that glaze is everywhere but here. This area right here is still dull. That means I haven't added enough heat to it yet. Come back in, add my heat, and I'm good to go. Now I can add another layer of embossing powder. In fact, I'm going to do it on this one. And I can do a double emboss. I can do a triple emboss. And every time you layer another embossing powder on top, it smooths the finish out, almost to the point where it is glass-like finish. So I've now added another layer of Versamark. I can now have my embossing powder walk on down, and anywhere it's missed, and then I'm going to heat again, and the second layer of embossing powder is going to melt into that first layer, giving me an even smoother glaze-like finish. So the two are melting together. And I can see it turning. So now we've even got a higher level of gloss. Now I didn't finish right there. Not enough heat, but look at how beautiful that layer of gloss sheen is. Come in. And finish it out. How long does it take to cool? As soon as your paper's cool, so is your embossing powder. And it's got that beautiful, beautiful sheen. So this one has a nice sheen, but nowhere near as smooth as here. And it's beautiful. And I could, yep, it's cool. I could come in and keep adding until I've got the thickness and the glaze that I'm looking for. All it is Versamark and embossing powder, but it changes everything about the finished look of your project. And this is clear embossing powder. So now I've got 3 coats going. Oh, I missed that spot right there, but I'm gonna go for it. I've got 3 coats going on right now. It literally looks almost like a glass finish. So if you think you have to stay with 1 coat of embossing powder, oh no. Now it's even shinier. Oh, look at that. So pretty and so easy to do. Blending the colors, using some of your Versamark and your embossing powder. Most of us have Versamark and clear embossing powder in our crafty stash. It's something we started with in the very, very beginning. And it just adds that beautiful finish. It just adds just that beautiful finish. I could go back and add another coat to this, or I can leave it be. And remember, we started doing just 1 color, and I added some metallic in there. And this was just doing 1 shade of blue, and I added some silver metallic as my last layer. And this is my Downtown Stencil. That's what it's called, Cosmopolitan Downtown Stencil, from March of this year. So many different ways. And you can blend your colors. And the metallic looks great on there. So for our Take 2 Tuesday event, we'll do the stencil. I'll do the color pad metallics because I don't think I've done those in quite some time. So I think I have 6 or 8 colors plus the inkers of those. So I'm going to add the metallics in. And for the metallics, you really are going to want to use the Hobby Gross blending. So I'll add those in as well. And I'll see if we'll do the Versamark and the clear embossing powder. We'll see if we have any left. But I think that would make a great Take 2 Tuesday. And some samples just to show. I showed this one off a little earlier. And then this was done in all brown. And here we did light, medium, dark brown, and then finished in the blue. And look at how pretty. Great for guy cards. And this one, we put the vellum on top to kind of diffuse it. So pretty. The teal and the brown. I love using one color for 3 shades and then coming back in. So pretty. So I'm going to have the girls finish those 3 for me. And say wahoo kachoo for Take 2 Tuesday. I just love playing with color. It just makes my heart happy. It's easy to do. It's white paper, and you just go for it. It's only your time and white paper. Grab those stencils, grab those ink pads, and have some fun with it. So it is me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations. You will find this product that I featured today here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I almost said scrapbook.com, although they have it too. Scrapbook.com has it too. So you'll find it at Scrapbooking Made Simple and scrapbook.com under, well, for us, under our Take 2 Tuesday category. All right, you guys. I will see you on Thursday for our next New For You event, and I believe it's featuring Sizzix. So until then, at 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, when we live chat during that New For You event, it's me, Stacey, and I'll see you all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.